4 minutes after 12, so we can go ahead and get going here. Rachel's not going to be with us today. She is out of town visiting some family up in Washington. She'll be back after Memorial Day, so she should be back and in charge next week. But Dave, if you want to go ahead and put the flag up, we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do I have any volunteers for an invocation or a motivational phrase?
I'll do one.
Sure, Amber, go ahead.
All right. So kind of an honor for this weekend coming up. May we think of freedom not as the right to do as we please, but as the opportunity to do what is right. And that's by Peter Marshall.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so looking at all the cameras for guests, I see our speaker, Liza. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. You're going to have the floor in just a few minutes. I see Linda Walker has joined us. Hi, Linda. I know we can't hear you, but we can see you. And I'm not seeing any other guests. Dave, it's nice to have you back. It's been a while, so thank you. Yeah. Okay, so as far as announcements go, there are a few. We have, let's see, a memorial service for Pete Ribble, June 1st at 5 p.m. It's at Sam Johnson Park. They're asking that you guys park at Redmond High and walk in, bring your own chairs. Not sure what the weather's going to look like, but dress accordingly. We do have our litter pickup, the Adopt a Highway program, scheduled for the following Saturday, the 12th of June. This will be the first one that we've done in 2 years. John, did you have?
Josh, did you say June 1st or June 5th?
I hope I said June 5th.
Okay, June 5th. Thank you.
Yeah, that is the day. I might have said the 1st, so thank you. Yeah, June 12th, that following Saturday, we're going to do the litter pickup. We're planning to meet at 9 a.m. at Pappy's Pizza and work forward from there. 2 more days later, June 14th is Flag Day, and that is our responsibility to put up and take down the 1,800 flags around town. So if you're available, please contact myself or Randy Marvin. Randy's kind of our liaison with the flag committee. So with that in mind, he actually is looking for a few drivers to pull trailers Monday for Memorial Day. I will be out of town camping, so I'm unavailable to pull a trailer. So I know he's looking for a couple extra able bodies. Let's see. I think that's all I have for announcements. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Roland?
Yeah, I just talked to Randy Marvin, and he's pretty clear that understand that he said he thinks he's got Memorial Day covered for drivers.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you.
But when it's our turn on Flag Day, we're going to need all the manpower we can muster.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and I'm happy to pull. I told Randy I can do just about any holiday. Memorial Day, I'm out of town, but otherwise, I'm kind of a standing driver, I believe. Earl.
Friday and Saturday is food pickup days. If you have a bag of food, would you please bring it to the park, Centennial Park, between 10 and 11. Friday, Roland will be there to pick it up. On Saturday, I will be there to pick it up. If for any reason you need help getting it to us, let me know and I'll come over and get it from you. If you need extra bags, let us know. I have bags that we'll be glad to trade with whoever brings a bag in. So this is an opportunity for us to help the community. So please help us out. Thank you.
Thanks, Earl. Okay, so it's happy dollar time. I know, Naomi, you said you've got some happy dollars, so we'll just start with you if that's all right.
Yes, I have 20 happy dollars to be healthy and still here and COVID free. and then 20 more happy dollars for my loved one that is also recovering at home safely.
Excellent.
So that was 40.
Yes, please, 40.
Thank you very much.
Alan, go ahead.
I have a happy dollar for Naomi, and I got up this morning at 4 a.m. to look at the eclipse, and I'm going to give $1 for every other person who did that. So if you got up to look at the eclipse, raise your hand and let John count it. I'll make that 5 for myself.
Well, I have a couple happy dollars. I am going camping for Memorial Day, so that's exciting. We're going to get out and enjoy Scout Lake. And so I'll give 3 happy dollars because we're staying 3 nights out there. Earl.
I give you 3 happy dollars. One is for Naomi. I'm glad that you're okay, kiddo, and you're back with us. One is for Linda Walker. I'm glad to see you here, even if you can't talk to us. That's good. And one is for Alan and those other folks who ran for office and got elected. So congratulations and thanks for doing what you do.
Roland.
I'll give 5 happy dollars for a couple of things. I missed our meeting last week. Gail and I were in Hood River over our anniversary for a few days and just enjoyed the local wineries and a couple of our favorite restaurants up there. And the other item is I just this morning got my son invited himself and his family to join us this coming weekend, and which is great because we haven't seen him in quite some time. So we're looking forward to that.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else happy out there? Hannah.
Yes, I'm happy that at the county commissioners meeting today, they set out a proclamation that Friday, June 4 is National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and that we will recognize that in Deschutes County. I'm putting the link to the wearorange.org in the chat, and I had kind of a spirited idea that June 4 is also the Friday Art Walk. So if somebody wants to wear orange and join me down at the June 4 Art Walk, I'm going to be down there and we can make a showing. Thank you.
Hannah, how much are you giving?
Oh, let's make $10 on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd really enjoy seeing John Duff wear orange. Carl, go ahead.
I've got most of the garden planted, and we'll put in the tomato plants this weekend. And as usual, I start a lot more plants than I ever put in the ground myself. So I will have plants to share, and we'll put out an email on that when they're ready to go.
How much, Carl?
2.
All right. Any other happy dollar? John Duff, go ahead.
Just happy to see our county opening up, our city opening up, restaurants and businesses opening up. Headed to Eastern Oregon for this weekend for Memorial Day to see my family. And I do have one sad dollar. I went into Tate and Tate this week and asked about everybody in Kiwanis remembers those wonderful lamb chop appetizers, right? I went to the counter and asked about them. They'd never heard of them.
No.
Huh?
So they were no longer on the menu. Haven't ordered lamb in 9 months, they said.
Maybe that was George's special secret recipe.
Must have been. So that's a serious blow to the vintner's dinner.
That's too bad.
How much, John?
$5.
Nicole, hi.
Hi, I am going to visit my son in LA on Friday for 5 nights, and I'm so excited. So $5 for my boy.
Fantastic. John Bruce, I see you waving. Oh, you're muted.
Hang on, there we go. I have a couple of dollars for the same reason that Carl did. I have a square foot gardens, and I have about 100 sets of for onions and seed potatoes. So if anybody wants them, I'd be glad to share some.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Um,
Dave.
Yep, I'd like to do $10. Our daughter has just been selected to teach at a international school in Barcelona, Spain, and it's a great opportunity. We're excited for the family, and it gives us a place to go this winter. So we're really excited for her and for the opportunities for us. So.
Very cool. Okay. If that wraps us up, it's time for the joke of the day. So, why can't your nose be 12 inches long?
Isn't it
It'd be a foot.
Yep, you got it. I have a backup one because I thought that one might not go over too well. Why did the invisible man turn down the job offer?
He couldn't see himself in that position.
Bingo. Cindy, you are on it today. Well done. All right, so now that I set the bar real low, Liza, you are up. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you're going to share with us today.
Thanks so much. Yeah, thank you all so much for having me. My name is Liza, and I'm the volunteer coordinator for Mountain Star Family Relief Nursery. And I work out of our Bend office, but we do have a location in Redmond as well, which I will be talking about and showing some pictures of, etc. And before I started screen sharing with my presentation, I first wanted to thank you all. I was looking through, and your club, Redmond Kiwanis, was one of the very first grants we got for our Redmond facility, which opened this past fall. And it gave us the ability to get all of the first toys and materials that our kids were playing with. And so just thank you all so much. And you'll see pictures of the kiddos enjoying the materials that we were able to purchase thanks to all of your generosity. So just want to start with thanks. And then I'm going to start screen sharing. I have a little presentation, and then I can answer any questions.
Earl, did you have a question real quick? I saw Earl's hand pop up. I wasn't sure.
I'm happy to answer questions first as well. If I'm gonna
go ahead.
Guess that no. All right. Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of you probably already know about Mountain Star because of the grant this past fall, but in case you don't, we are a child abuse and neglect prevention organization. So we really just come from the belief that every child deserves the best start possible. And we recognize that children who are living in chaotic and toxic environments that come out of crisis and stress are at the highest risk for abuse. So what we do is every day we support the healthy development of young children by really working to strengthen the whole family. And we are the only organization in Central Oregon that provides therapeutic classrooms, parent education services, and wraparound family support targeted at protecting babies and toddlers who are at significant risk for abuse and neglect. So we focus on families with children between the ages of 0 to 5 with risk factors that include extreme poverty, family mental and physical illness, parental history of trauma, substance abuse, domestic violence, unstable housing, food insecurity, just all those factors that make raising a kid, which is already hard, seem very much impossible. And so what we do is we provide wraparound services that include our therapeutic classrooms, which I'll get into more later, home visits, and guidance with navigating those community resources that are also available. And then we also can provide emergency food boxes, clothing, and diapers to all the families in our program. And we really see the success in our program through children remaining out of the foster care system and staying safe at home and safe from abuse. And we get to watch those parent and child relationships improve as stress is mitigated. and watch those children in our classrooms meet their developmental milestones, and most importantly, watching their whole home environment shift to a safe and more nurturing place for them as they grow older. And so we have two primary programs at Mountain Star. There's the therapeutic early childhood program, which I've already mentioned a little bit, and that is our therapeutic classroom, as well as all of those wraparound services, including the home visits, which provides 300 hours of direct support per family per year. And then there's also our outreach program, which is that's our first response when families reach out to us in a time of crisis. And you might be hearing the preschool as they walk by my office. And so the outreach is really our first point of contact with families. And it's sort of an a la carte service sort of thing. We provide the support that they need at the time, but they typically, if they have fewer stress factors than the other families, that we don't put them in our therapeutic classroom, but we can still provide respite care and those home visits and food boxes and diapers. And, some families are in and out of outreach real quick. They just needed that little bit of support to get back on their feet. Other families are in outreach and then transition into the therapeutic classroom. It's very much, we just meet families where they're at and provide what they need when they need it. It's very individualized. And so a really important part of our program for me, and I think just for the success of Mountain Star, is that we are completely voluntary and free for families. And so everything we provide is free. And then also we're not a program that's mandated by DHS. The parents are the ones who call us, or caregivers are the ones who call us saying they want to make a change and they want some help. And that's such a brave and big first step. So, we really know that the parents we're working with love their children so much. And there's so much trust involved with that. And our home visitors spend so much time creating, deep, trusting relationships with the caregivers and with the children, because that's the way that we can really get through to them and, meet them where they're at, like I've said, and just with that non-judgmental approach, support them so that they can support their children's development to the best of their abilities. And so, why the focus on just babies and toddlers? And that's sort of because of brain science. And so there are 1 million new neural connections happening every second during the first 1,000 days of a person's life. So during those first 3 years, your brain's just firing on all cylinders. And by the time you're 3, 80% of your brain is hardwired. And so here's sort of a couple of images that represent a brain. They're obviously not real pictures of brains. And so you can see the one on the left, there's so many different branches. It's really thick, like lots of different connections, things are going everywhere. And this represents a healthy brain with healthy connections. And so a child whose brain looks like this, they encounter an obstacle or they're experiencing a new feeling, and they have a lot of different avenues and a lot of options and ways to cope with these stressful things or obstacles, they know different ways to express their feelings. Their brain is just healthy and they have options. Whereas the brain on the right, you see there really aren't very many connections. Things just sort of fizzle out. It's not as rich or as thick. And this represents a stressed brain, a child with unhealthy connections. And the way that translates is that, if they encounter stress, they don't have all of those different options. They maybe just have one option for how to deal with it. And when dealing with emotions, they really might not know how to process or express any of their emotions, the positive and the negative ones. And these connections are created through communication with caregivers. And so with little babies, pretty much everything they do is an attempt at communication with their caregivers, looking at things, making babbling noises, reaching for things. And when the caregivers respond, that's when these healthy connections are formed. And when that isn't happening, when that parent-child interaction is stressed because of factors in the life that are potentially beyond the caregiver's control, that impedes brain development. And we see that in these images. And so we step in with this early investment because, without unlimited resources, it really makes the most sense to invest early on when we know that the most is happening with the brain. I think this graph does a good job of showing, why we are where we are with our with our limited resources. And beyond that, babies and toddlers are among the most vulnerable members of our population. They don't really have any say in what happens to them. But also these first 3 years of their life are in many ways the most important ones, especially with mental health and developmental benchmarks. It always makes more sense, for them and also financially to get things right the first time than to have to work through issues later on in life. And so, like I mentioned, we are all throughout Central Oregon. So we have our Bend office, which is our biggest location, and then Mountain Star Redmond, which is on Southwest Timber Avenue. It's the big yellow house on the corner. And as you know, that opened this fall. So we're very excited to now be in Redmond. And it's been really cool to get that program up and running. And then we also have a classroom, a couple of classrooms in Madras and also in Prineville. And so this is some pictures from the therapeutic class. These are all real life Redmond kiddos in our Redmond classroom. And the therapeutic class is really a wonderful, fun place. It's all about creating a safe environment where kids who are living in really stressful households can leave that flight or fight part of their brain and just relax and have fun and play, because play is really the most important thing for children to be doing. It's how they learn everything. And we just give them a place where it feels like their space, and they're with trusted adults every week, and they get to play. And we have a really strong focus on social and emotional skills. So they really learn how to navigate those big feelings that they have, and they get a lot of support creating these deep, lasting relationships with the children in their class and with the adults in their class. Just a lot of focus on feelings, play, and relationship building. So it's a whole lot of fun. And we also in Redmond just recently have a new program that none of our other sites have. What's unique with Redmond is that we actually own the building. It's the only building that Mountain Star owns. And because of that, we're kind of able to do what we want. And we have a new garden program. And we got a grant from the Redmond Garden Club to buy materials. And then these pictures are some kids from Campfire Central Oregon helping us put starts in the ground and set up a drip line, which I found out today works after a little bit of messing with the irrigation system. And we're really, really excited to have this opportunity to bring our toddlers out into the garden with us and have them help us water the plants and watch the plants grow. And we've planted blueberries and strawberries and cherry tomatoes and peas and beans and a bunch of flowers. And really generally trying to have things that we hope kids will like and get them excited about eating vegetables and fruit that they grew themselves. And if we have a very productive garden, we will be able to send fresh produce home with families. And so we're just really excited about all that whole opportunity. And so beyond the garden project, which is a way to get involved, if you ever want to come out and muck around in the dirt in our garden, you're very much invited to do that. But there are a lot of other ways to get involved too. You could become a volunteer in our therapeutic classrooms. We do, in Redmond specifically, really need a Wednesday morning volunteer right now. So if anyone's not doing things, not busy on Wednesday mornings from 9 to noon and wants to hang out with some very cute, I think it's 5 one-year-olds right now, give me a call or an email. We would love to have you in our classroom. And beyond that, we have our Prairie Godparent program, which is where we match community members with children in our program to provide some of the more specific needs for the family directly. And these can be both fun gifts or, more like gas cards for parents who are having to commute really far to work. And then we also have a birthday bag program, which is a very fun program where it's like a birthday party in a bag. So there's cake mix, a little cake tin, a gift for the child whose birthday it is, maybe some party hats and some candles. And we put those together every year. Usually groups out in the community put them together. And then as the kid's birthday comes around, we send them home with a birthday bag so that every child in our program gets to have a little party. And then we also are always, looking for volunteers to help out with fundraising events and just general community outreach. Half the battle sometimes is people knowing we exist, since we are a voluntary program. And then, general helping out at our sites, cleaning, organizing, that includes, working in the garden and stuff like that. And so if you want to get involved in any way, I'll put my email and my phone number in the chat later, and you're always welcome to reach out to me. And if you'd rather get involved through like purchasing items, this is our wish list. And all of this information is also available up on our website, and it gets updated fairly frequently as new needs come up and other needs are no longer as prevalent. And so now I'm going to hopefully share my sound because that's important. Share sound, and I have just a short video to share with you about a Mountain Star family and their experience.
I think for most people, a big fear of theirs is that they're going to grow up and be just like their parents were.
I missed out on regular guidance in life and being told that she was proud of me, that she was there for me, that it was okay to make mistakes. I missed out on a lot of that. I want my kids to be able to grow up and not worry that they aren't going to have their basic needs met, or that their mom or their dad aren't going to be there for them if they make a mistake.
That fed a lot of anxiety in me for many years, being a young parent, you know, worrying that I was going to parent just like my mom did and that it wouldn't be good enough.
The families we serve face tremendous challenges such as poverty, homelessness, mental illness, domestic violence, and more.
After the first year here, we were given a phone call that they were going to sell the rental we were in. And we didn't look very stable on paper. So we lived with our friends in their living room for 7 months with 3 kids, trying to make it work and trying to pull ourselves up, even though we've made mistakes in the past.
The only successful way to really reach people living with that much stress is to build a relationship with them. Each child and family in our therapeutic early childhood classroom benefits from more than 300 hours of contact per year.
It's important to have a relationship with parents that are struggling to meet their children's safety needs. If they were raised in a home where they themselves were abused, they don't have a healthy picture of a parent-child relationship and healthy, safe parenting.
Looking back at my own life and my own upbringing and the struggles I've had as an adult due to things that I just didn't get as a kid, it's made it really hard to feel like I'm still a good mom.
The best chance we have to improve a child's life, and frankly, the right thing to do, is to reach out and offer non-judgmental support to parents dealing with an overwhelming amount of stress.
Even with all the love in the world for your children, stress can lead to behaviors that you're not proud of, yelling or screaming. And since we've been in this program, my kids have had a huge burden off of their shoulders just from mom and dad not yelling all the time.
Without that engagement, that trusting relationship with a parent, meaningful change for children won't happen.
Before Helena started in Mountain Star's therapeutic classroom, she was very attached to me, and she didn't really trust other people from outside of our home at all. She could not enjoy being held. She didn't want to interact with other people. She would cry. And then when she started coming to Mountain Star, she started to develop beautiful relationships with the teachers and with the other students in the classroom as well.
Oh, you did it! Nice job.
Seeing her today interact at school and do really well, I can't help but think it's because she was able to be in Mountain Star's program. Working with Mountain Star staff, they really showed me how to have patience, grace for myself as a human being, kindness, non-judgment, and hope. Since then, we were able to get into a house in Redmond, and then right now we're just a few weeks away from closing on our first home purchase. I finished my community college degree in 2017, and I transferred to Oregon State University Cascades campus. I just graduated last year in 2019, magna cum laude, and then I started work full-time at Lanza. At Lanza, I'm a product development scientist. We work on medicines that are brand new and have not been approved by the FDA yet. My life still feels surreal, even a year after finishing college. I'm incredibly proud of our family, particularly my kids, and they are proud of me. I feel empowered to take on the uncertainties of tomorrow, rather than imprisoned by my own shortcomings. We are stable, we are safe, we have managed to succeed in the face of great struggle. I'm excited to keep going with my career and to keep learning, but I'm really excited to dig in with my kids and get them going with their lives. I've spent a lot of years trying to make sure that they would be okay, and now I get to make sure that they're going to be great.
And now I just want to open it up for questions.
I have a question. Obviously, some of these children that are 5 and under have an older sibling, and the family dynamics being what they are, I assume that these older children might need counseling or guidance also. How do you handle that case of an older sibling, and what resources are available for them?
Yeah, so our interventionists are well connected within their different communities about what other resources are available. Oh, I'm sorry, that happens in my office sometimes. And so they're a very good sounding board for parents generally if they are having issues with other siblings. During the home visit, caregivers are welcome to bring up any issues they're having with any of their kids, really. It's not just about the child who's enrolled at Mountain Star. So if they are really struggling with a child who's in elementary school, the home visitor will help guide them through the process of connecting that child with the resources that are available within their community. And then our fairy godparent program is also really helpful with older siblings. Many fairy godparents are willing to help provide for unmet needs for both the Mountain Star child and all of their siblings, which is really wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Mountain Star a Central Oregon organization, or a statewide or national organization?
Yeah, so Mountain Star is specific to Central Oregon. We are within the Oregon Association of Relief Nurseries. So Relief Nurseries, this model that we have, is unique to Oregon. And there's some slightly similar things in other states, but within Oregon, there's the Oregon Association of Relief Nurseries. And so there are other relief nurseries in the state doing what we do, but Mountain Star is only in Central Oregon, and we're the only relief nursery in Central Oregon right now.
Thank you.
What's your overall capacity of the Redmond house, and how close to full are you?
Yeah, so I believe our capacity is 20 children enrolled in the therapeutic program right now, and we are still below capacity. The outreach has been very challenging during 2020 and into 2021, just because as a voluntary program, we really have to put ourselves out there in the community. And without those in-person community events, it's definitely been a challenge. But I think the program manager and staff there are hopeful that as things are starting to open up again, there will be more of those tabling events, and they'll be able to get the word out to more parents. And we are looking to, within the next year or so, create a second classroom in the Redmond facility for a preschool promise program, so that children who join our program and do the relief nursery program from 0 to 3 can then move into preschool promise for preschool. And that way we can sort of keep ties with them a little bit longer. So we have recently just secured the funding for that. So we'll start construction sometime within the next year. So that's really exciting.
Cool.
And that'll pretty much double our capacity.
That's great.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything? Hannah?
Yes, I was wondering, how do families find you? How do they join your program typically?
Yeah, so we get a lot of our referrals from pediatricians. And then there's also a big one is word of mouth. A lot of families live within similar communities, and they'll tell each other that there's this program that's super helpful. It provides free childcare. We have diapers. We have home visits, That gets the word out a lot. And I know in non-COVID times, there's WIC events often, the Women's, Infants, Children. They'll have tabling events and we'll go to those, or we'll go to other like library put on events and put out a table and, you know, generally have some toys for the kids to hang out with, and then brochures and such. And I know, you know, we work with we partner with other organizations. So I know here in our Bend office, we have Healthy Families at the High Desert that do home visits with new moms. They'll often also bring our brochures to say, you know, when your infant is a little bit older, I mean, we take them starting at 6 weeks. You can start bringing them to Mountain Star, and this is all that Mountain Star has to offer. So yeah, we really rely a lot on our community connections. And that's generally how people find out about us.
Earl.
Just wondered, I know you end up having a lot of supplies that you have to put out to folks. You mentioned diapers, things of that nature. Do you have collection drives or things like that to try to get those specific kinds of items that you give to the kids?
So the only really organized drive that we do is we do an annual food drive here in Bend. And then other than that, we do have, I know in like La Pine, we have the La Pines Lion Club has been doing some organization for drives, but it is generally other community members organize the drives and to gather a lot of items and bring them. And otherwise we are sort of, I think a go-to drop-off place for some people if people have children who've just grown out of their diapers or grown out of their clothes, they'll often call and ask if they can donate to us, and we accept donations from throughout the community. But yeah, drives like that would be very helpful, and yeah, are always appreciated.
I mentioned that because one of the Kiwanis clubs I had belonged to used to have diaper drives to give to a local organization just to help with the diapers for young kids.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. If that would be something you'd wanted to do, I'd love to help coordinate that. We go through a lot of diapers in our classrooms, and then also just giving them to families. So and they hope we're always running out. We use them.
Liza, is that needs list up to date on the website? I mean, how often is that updated? And
yeah, I'd say it's updated just about once a month. And yeah, so it's up on our website. I can put the link in the chat as well.
We already have that up there.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, any other questions or?
About sharing.
Well, thank you very much, Lisa, for coming and sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. And yeah, just let me know if you ever want to get involved. If you just want a tour of the Redmond site, it's pretty cool now where we have a whole classroom. It went from just a sort of empty house to a place with a classroom. And next project is adding another classroom and a playground. Working on that one too. Thanks so much.
Okay, well, thank you again. And yeah, if you guys have questions, I think Liza's going to put her contact info there in the chat, and Dave did put the website on there, so feel free to investigate that and check it out. Otherwise, I think we're through for the day. So thank you all for joining us. And Liza, thank you again. We appreciate you and what you're doing.
Thank you again for having me. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Thank you guys. Yep. Everybody have a good one.